In a world full of quick hacks, surface-level productivity tips, and fleeting motivation, very few books offer a timeless framework for personal transformation. One of those rare gems is The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People by Stephen R. Covey. Since its publication in 1989, this book has sold over 40 million copies worldwide and has been translated into dozens of languages. It has become more than just a bestseller. It's a global movement. Its impact extends far beyond business and productivity circles. From CEOs to students, from parents to political leaders, millions have used its principles to build meaningful, purpose-driven lives. Stephen Covey didn't just write another self-help book. He introduced a paradigm shift. Instead of focusing on how to look effective on the outside, he guided readers to focus on character ethics, on becoming the kind of person for whom success is a natural byproduct. The 7 habits he outlines aren't tricks. They're not techniques to manipulate others or shortcuts to wealth. These are fundamental principles, deep truths about how to live with integrity, make conscious decisions, build lasting relationships, and lead with purpose. In this video, we'll take you through each of the 7 habits in a clear and practical way. You'll learn how to stop reacting to life and start taking charge of it, why beginning with the end in mind changes everything, the importance of putting first things first, and how to do it in a distracted world, why win-win thinking creates true success in relationships and business, how to listen so well that others feel deeply understood, the power of synergy and how collaboration outperforms competition, and finally, why you must continuously renew yourself to stay effective and balanced. These habits build on each other. They form a staircase, from dependence to independence and finally to interdependence, where real effectiveness begins. If you're someone who wants to take your personal growth seriously, if you've ever felt like you're working hard but not progressing meaningfully, or if you want a life that's not just successful but deeply fulfilling, this video is for you. Watch till the end, because the final habit ties everything together. And once you hear it, it may change how you view not just success but life itself. If you find this breakdown valuable, please support the channel by liking the video, subscribing for more insights like this, and sharing it with someone who's also on a journey of personal growth. Now let's dive into the 7 habits of highly effective people and discover what truly sets them apart. Habit 1. Be proactive. The first and foundational habit in Covey's framework is be proactive. At first glance, this might sound simple. Just take initiative, right? But Covey means something much deeper. Being proactive is not just about taking action. It's about taking responsibility for your life, your thoughts, your emotions, your behaviors, and ultimately your outcomes. Most people, according to Covey, operate in a reactive mindset. That means they're constantly responding to external events. If the weather is bad, they feel grumpy. If someone criticizes them, they feel offended. If traffic is bad, their whole day is ruined. In this way of living, emotions and actions are dictated by circumstances, by things outside their control. But highly effective people choose a different path. They understand that between stimulus and response, there is a space. And in that space lies the power to choose their reaction, to choose their attitude, to choose their next move. Being proactive is about expanding that space. It's about refusing to let your life be dictated by mood, environment, or the behavior of others. You recognize that you are the creative force in your own life. Covey explains this concept using what he calls the circle of concern and the circle of influence. Your circle of concern includes everything you care about: your job, your health, your relationships, world events, climate change, the economy. Your circle of influence includes the things you can actually do something about: your habits, your thoughts, your choices, your actions. Reactive people spend most of their time worrying about their circle of concern. They complain about politics, blame the economy, gossip about others, focusing their energy on things they can't control. As a result, their circle of influence shrinks. They become powerless. Proactive people, on the other hand, focus on what they can influence. They work on themselves, They manage their time better. They improve their communication. They practice discipline. And because they're investing energy in the right place, their influence gradually expands. They become more capable, more respected, more trusted, and more effective. Covey also emphasizes the language difference between reactive and proactive people. Reactive people say, "There's nothing I can do. That's just the way I am. He makes me so mad. I have to." Proactive people say, "Let's look at the alternatives. I can choose a different approach. I control how I respond. I choose." This shift in language reflects a shift in mindset, a reclaiming of personal power. Covey doesn't pretend this is easy. Life throws curveballs. There will be challenges, disappointments, and injustices. But being proactive means refusing to be a victim. It means accepting that you are not your past. You are not your circumstances. You are not what others have said about you. You are your choices. So how do you begin practicing this habit in daily life? Start small. Begin by paying attention to your self-talk. Notice when you're blaming, complaining, or excusing. Then challenge those thoughts. Ask, what can I control in this situation? What's the next best action I can take? Also, practice keeping commitments to yourself. When you tell yourself you're going to wake up early, do it. When you say you'll exercise, follow through. Each time you honor a promise you've made to yourself, you strengthen your personal integrity. You build a foundation of self-trust, and self-trust is the fuel for proactive behavior. Being proactive is the first habit for a reason. Without it, the others don't work. Because if you believe that life is just happening to you and that you're powerless to change it, then no strategy or habit will make a lasting difference. But when you choose to be proactive, when you step into that space between stimulus and response and decide who you want to be, then you become the author of your own life. Not a victim, not a passive observer, but a creator. And that's where real effectiveness begins. Habit 2. Begin with the end in mind. Once you have embraced the power of being proactive and taking responsibility for your life, the next habit shifts your focus toward clarity of purpose. Covey's second habit, begin with the end in mind, is all about vision and direction. It's about knowing where you want to go before you start moving. Imagine setting off on a road trip without a map or GPS, not even knowing your destination. You might enjoy the journey, but chances are you'll waste time, get lost, or end up somewhere you didn't want to be. The same is true for life. Without a clear destination, you can drift, get distracted, or find yourself overwhelmed by circumstances. Covey encourages you to create a personal mission statement, a clear picture of the legacy you want to leave, the values you want to live by, and the goals you want to achieve. This mission statement becomes your internal compass. It helps you make decisions aligned with your deepest priorities rather than reacting to what seems urgent at the moment. Begin with the end in mind means imagining your own funeral or retirement party. What would you want people to say about you? What kind of impact do you want to have had? What kind of relationships do you want to have built? How do you want to have grown as a person? This habit challenges you to think beyond short-term gains and focus on your long-term vision. Covey believes that people who live without this clarity often end up chasing what's popular, convenient, or expected by others. This leads to frustration and a sense of aimlessness. The process of beginning with the end in mind involves more than just goals. It's about defining your principles and values first. What matters most? Integrity? Family? Creativity? Contribution? Once you have identified these, you can align your daily actions to serve these core principles. Covey also highlights that many people are influenced by societal scripts, cultural expectations, peer pressure, or family demands, which may not truly reflect their authentic selves. Habit 2 invites you to question these scripts and create your own. When you have a clear vision, it becomes easier to say no to distractions and temptations that pull you off course. You develop a filter through which you evaluate choices and opportunities. Will this action move me closer to my mission? If not, then it's probably a distraction. An essential part of this habit is visualization and mental rehearsal. Athletes, performers, and successful people use this technique to prepare their minds for success. Covey suggests that by mentally rehearsing the outcomes you want, you program your subconscious mind to work toward those goals. In practical terms, beginning with the end in mind can look like writing a personal mission statement and revisiting it regularly, setting clear, meaningful goals based on your core values, planning your day, week, or projects with your ultimate objectives in mind, considering the impact of your decisions not just today, but months or years from now. This habit aligns your life to a greater purpose and helps you avoid the trap of busyness without progress. It turns vague dreams into concrete realities. To sum it up, Habit 2. Begin with the end in mind asks you to be the architect of your life. You're invited to design your blueprint before you build the house. You're not just reacting to life's demands, you're intentionally creating a life that reflects your highest aspirations. By doing this, you gain clarity, focus, and a sense of fulfillment that comes from living on purpose. Habit 3. Put first things first. If Habit 1 is about taking responsibility, and Habit 2 is about having a clear vision, then Habit 3 is about execution. It's the discipline to prioritize what matters most and organize your time and energy accordingly. Covey calls this habit, put first things first. Many people struggle with time management. They often feel overwhelmed, rushing from one urgent task to another, but never really making progress on what's truly important. Covey points out that being busy is not the same as being effective. The core idea of this habit is to focus on your highest priorities, those aligned with your mission and values, and say no to distractions and lesser urgent demands. This requires courage, discipline, and clarity. Covey introduces a powerful tool to understand how we spend our time, the time management matrix. It divides activities into 4 quadrants based on urgency and importance. Quadrant 1. Urgent and important as crises, pressing problems, deadlines. Quadrant 2. Not urgent but important. Planning, relationship building, personal growth, preventive activities. Quadrant 3. Urgent but not important. Interruptions, some calls, emails, meetings. Quadrant 4. Not urgent and not important. Time wasters, trivial activities, excessive entertainment. Most people get stuck in Quadrant 1, dealing with emergencies and putting out fires. This causes stress and burnout. Some get distracted by Quadrant 3 activities, responding to demands that feel urgent but don't contribute to their goals. Covey argues that true effectiveness comes from spending the majority of your time in Quadrant 2, those important but not urgent tasks that lead to long-term success and personal fulfillment. This includes things like setting goals and planning ahead, building strong relationships with family and colleagues, exercising and taking care of your health, learning new skills, reflecting on your progress and adjusting course. Habit 3 is where many people fail because it requires saying no to urgent but unimportant tasks, and even to some things that are enjoyable but don't serve your bigger purpose. This habit is not just about managing your schedule, it's about managing yourself. It calls for self-discipline to follow through on your priorities even when distractions or easier options tempt you. Covey emphasizes that putting first things first means living your life according to your deepest values, not just reacting to pressures or external demands. It's about leading yourself to do what matters most. One way to practice this habit is through weekly planning. Rather than being reactive each day, take time at the start of the week to decide your key priorities. Schedule time blocks for important tasks and protect those blocks fiercely. Another aspect is learning to delegate or eliminate tasks that don't align with your priorities. Highly effective people understand that their time is precious and that saying no is often necessary to say yes to what really counts. By putting first things first, you gain control over your life instead of feeling like life controls you. You build momentum by focusing on things that create real progress and satisfaction. In short, Habit 3 is the bridge between planning and doing. Without it, even the best intentions and visions from Habit 2 can never materialize. This habit teaches us to act with integrity, honoring commitments to ourselves and others, and creating a balanced life where work, relationships, health, and growth all receive attention. Habit 4. Think win-win. After learning to take responsibility, clarify your vision, and prioritize what truly matters, the next step in Covey's journey is about how we interact with others. Habit 4, Think win-win, is a powerful mindset for relationships, negotiations, and collaboration. In life, relationships matter. Whether it's at work, in your family, or with friends, how you approach interactions can make the difference between lasting success and conflict. Covey points out that many people operate with a scarcity mentality, the belief that for one person to win, another must lose. This zero-sum thinking breeds competition, mistrust, and resentment. Think win-win flips that on its head. It's the belief that there is enough success, happiness, and resources for everyone to benefit. It's a mindset rooted in abundance and mutual respect. Covey says that truly effective people don't settle for merely winning themselves. They seek solutions where everyone wins. What does this look like in practice? First, it requires a deep respect for the other person's needs, desires, and values. It means listening genuinely and seeking to understand before being understood. This creates a foundation of trust and openness. Second, thinking win-win demands creativity and cooperation. Instead of seeing negotiations as battles, you look for ways to expand the pie, finding new options that satisfy everyone. For example, at work, a win-win approach might mean collaborating on a project so both departments benefit, rather than competing for limited resources. In a family, it could mean finding compromises that honor both partners' needs instead of one person giving in every time. Covey also identifies 6 paradigms of human interaction. Win-win. Everyone benefits. Win-lose. I win. You lose. Lose-win. I lose. You win. Lose. Lose. Everyone loses. Win. I win. You don't care. Win-win or no deal. If no agreement is beneficial for both, walk away. Highly effective people strive for win-win but recognize that sometimes no deal is the best option rather than forcing a bad compromise. But developing a win-win mindset isn't just a tactic. It reflects inner maturity and confidence. People who think win-win don't fear losing or being vulnerable. They're secure enough to pursue solutions that respect everyone's interests. Covey emphasizes that this habit is not naive optimism. It requires courage, empathy, and a commitment to fairness. When win-win becomes your default approach, relationships transform. Conflicts become opportunities for growth. Cooperation flourishes. Trust builds. And success becomes sustainable and shared. Practicing habit 4 means cultivating an abundance mentality, believing there's enough for all, seeking mutual benefit in negotiations and conversations, listening actively and seeking to understand others, being honest about your needs while respecting theirs, being willing to walk away if a fair solution isn't possible. In a world where competition often dominates, thinking win-win sets you apart as a leader, a collaborator, and a person of integrity. Ultimately, Habit 4 teaches us that true success is not a solitary achievement, but a shared one. When you help others win, you win too. Habit 5. Seek first to understand, then to be understood. Now that we've explored the importance of thinking win-win, the next habit takes us deeper into effective communication and relationships. Habit 5. Seek first to understand, then to be understood, is about developing the skill of empathetic listening. Covey stresses that communication is the most important skill in life. Yet, most people don't listen to understand. They listen to respond. They're often so focused on their own thoughts, opinions, or how to reply that they miss the real meaning behind what others are saying. This habit flips that tendency on its head. To be truly effective in relationships, you must first seek to deeply understand the other person's perspective, feelings, and needs before trying to share your own. This requires patience, empathy, and openness. Why is this so important? Because when people feel genuinely heard and understood, it builds trust and lowers defenses. They become more willing to listen to you in return. It creates a safe space for honest, meaningful dialogue. Covey explains that listening with the intent to understand is an active process. It means giving your full attention to the speaker, avoiding interrupting or mentally preparing your response while they talk, reflecting back what you heard to confirm understanding, being aware of nonverbal cues and emotions. This kind of empathetic listening can transform conflicts, build stronger connections, and open doors to collaboration. Covey also contrasts this with typical ineffective communication styles. Ignoring, pretending not to hear, pretending, giving only superficial attention. Selective listening, hearing only what interests you. Attentive listening, paying attention but not truly empathizing. Empathic listening, fully understanding the other person's frame of reference. Habit 5 challenges you to practice empathic listening as your default. Once you have understood others, then comes the second part. Seek to be understood. This means clearly and respectfully expressing your own thoughts and feelings, grounded in your values and vision. When you combine deep understanding with honest self-expression, communication becomes powerful and transformative. You move beyond arguments and misunderstandings to real problem-solving and connection. In practical life, this habit can improve personal relationships by resolving conflicts peacefully, workplace communication by fostering collaboration, leadership effectiveness by inspiring trust and openness. This habit requires humility, recognizing that your perspective is not the only one, and courage to speak your truth respectfully. In short, Habit 5 teaches us that the key to influence is not speaking first but listening first. By seeking to understand before being understood, you open the door to meaningful, authentic relationships and effective problem-solving. Habit 6. Synergize. Having learned to take responsibility, create a clear vision, prioritize effectively, think, win-win, and listen empathetically, Habit 6 invites us to the highest level of teamwork and creativity. Synergize. Synergy means that the whole is greater than the sum of its parts. It is about valuing differences, building on strengths, and compensating for weaknesses by working together in creative cooperation. Covey explains that synergy is the result when two or more people bring their unique perspectives, skills, and ideas together to create solutions that no one could have developed alone. It's not compromise, where everyone gives up something, but a creative process where new and better alternatives emerge. Think about it. In everyday life, when we collaborate, our differences often cause conflicts, but synergy flips this dynamic. It embraces differences as opportunities for innovation and growth. Covey points out that to create synergy, you first need to build trust and openness among team members. This only happens when Habit 4, think win-win, and Habit 5, seek first, to understand, are practiced consistently. In an environment of trust, people feel safe to express their ideas honestly, even if they differ from others. These diverse perspectives then spark creativity. The power of synergy shows up everywhere, in business teams that innovate breakthrough products by combining different expertise, in families where members' unique talents complement each other to create a supportive home, in communities where diverse cultures collaborate for the common good. Covey reminds us that synergy requires humility and courage. Humility to recognize that you don't have all the answers, and courage to embrace ideas that challenge your assumptions. Synergy also requires an abundance mentality, the belief there is enough success for everyone, and a willingness to celebrate differences rather than fear them. Unfortunately, many groups settle for compromise or even avoid collaboration because they fear conflict. Covey warns that settling for compromise often leads to subpar results, missed opportunities, and resentment. True synergy, however, unleashes creativity, innovation, and high trust, leading to results far beyond expectations. To practice synergy in your life, value and respect differences in others. Encourage open, honest dialogue. Focus on finding third alternatives, solutions better than any individual option. Create an environment where people feel safe to express their unique ideas. Let go of ego and be willing to learn from others. Habit 6 teaches us that together we can achieve greatness that none of us could alone. Synergy is the ultimate habit of creative cooperation and collective strength. Habit 7. Sharpen the saw after mastering the first 6 habits. Stephen Covey closes his framework with Habit 7, sharpen the saw. This habit is about continuous self-renewal and maintaining a balanced lifestyle so you can sustain long-term effectiveness. Covey uses the metaphor of a woodcutter who tries to saw a tree with a dull blade. No matter how hard he works, progress slows and frustration grows. The solution? Stop and sharpen the saw. Take time to recharge and improve the tool. In life, the saw is you, your body, mind, heart, and spirit. Habit 7 emphasizes investing time regularly in renewing these 4 dimensions. Physical renewal, taking care of your body through exercise, nutrition, rest, and stress management. A healthy body supports energy, stamina, and focus. Mental renewal, feeding your mind by learning new things, reading, writing, and engaging in creative activities. Mental growth keeps your thinking sharp and expands your perspective. Emotional social renewal, building strong, meaningful relationships, practicing empathy, and managing emotions. Emotional health strengthens your connections and resilience. Spiritual renewal, connecting with your inner self, values, and purpose through meditation, reflection, prayer, or time in nature. Spiritual renewal nurtures inner peace and clarity. Covey explains that these 4 areas are interconnected. Neglecting one can affect the others and drain your overall effectiveness. Habit 7 is about balance and prevention, not just reacting to burnout or crisis. By dedicating time to regular renewal, you increase your capacity to handle challenges, create, and contribute your best. In practice, sharpening the saw might look like exercising regularly and eating nourishing food, scheduling time daily or weekly for learning and reading, spending quality time with loved ones, practicing mindfulness or meditation to stay grounded, taking breaks and vacations to avoid fatigue. Covey emphasizes that sharpening the saw is a lifelong process. It's not a one-time event, but a habit of continuous improvement and care. This habit also ties back to the earlier habits. For example, to put first things first, Habit 3, you need the energy and discipline that come from renewal. To think, win-win, Habit 4, and synergize. Habit 6, you need emotional and spiritual strength. In summary, Habit 7 teaches us that to be highly effective, we must invest in ourselves regularly, body, mind, heart, and soul, so we can perform at our best in all areas of life.